All right, we're live. Good morning, Black women. I think that there are some fears around retirement that we're going to just blow out of the water today. We're going to like eviscerate these fears today. I think that's my goal. I think that there are some times that Black women are afraid to say what they're afraid of because Black women are always told that we have to be so strong and so fearless, quote unquote, fearless. But today, let's be a little bit vulnerable so that we can break through, make some breakthroughs. Hello, my name is Stephanie Perry. I'm a house sitter. I'm the creator of House Sitter School, co-creator of Exodus Summit. I help Black women take career breaks, sabbaticals, bop around the world. If you're at all interested in this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, please. Thank you. Turn on notifications as well so that you'll be notified when I post a video or when I go live with a special guest. Hi, special guest.
Hi, everybody.
Friends, please meet Sibongile Lynch. Please, friend, introduce yourself to everybody.
Okay, so I'm Sibongile. Some of you, I suppose, know me, some don't. But I'm just a regular black woman on retirement. That's it. I do have a couple of online presences. We don't retire with this thing. It's my YouTube channel, although I haven't really done anything with it for probably about a year.
Okay.
But also there's Instagram. We don't retire with the sin. And I'm also on Substack at Spitting Out Bomb. And I also have a website, Spitting Out Bomb, on the website. That's it.
I've put all of your links in the description. So all of Sibongile's links are in the description of the video. The echo is back. Oh, we just fixed it.
You still hear echo?
Yes.
Oh, no.
So can you just double check that StreamYard is using the lapel mic and not your whatchamacallit? And I'll just get on with the morning good mornings while we get that fixed. We just fixed it. Good morning. Hi, Monique. Friends, if you're here, say hello to us in the chat. Thank you. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Connie Perry. That's my mom. Good morning, Kiara. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Coffee Brown. Hey, B More. Hi, Candace. Hey, co-living single.
What about this? No.
Yes, whatever you just did, that's the answer.
Okay.
Perfect.
Because I still hear echo on my end.
It's much clearer, right, y'all? This is much
But as long as they don't hear echo. Still echo. Yeah.
I think we did it. Oh, wait. Well, let's give it a second. I think Rashida says still echo.
It's good.
Do you have any other windows open that you can close or any other device?
My phone. Well, I don't have it on here though.
Let me make sure it's not me. Because it sounds much better. It like everything sounds much better.
Okay. What about big? Is that okay?
Let's let them say. Let's let them answer.
No, still an echo. How about now? Hello, can y'all hear me? Echo. Oh my goodness.
It's only when she is talking.
Okay. Only when I'm talking.
Let's see. Can you, okay, I'm gonna take you off screen for just a second. Can you leave and come right back?
Okay.
Exit out of StreamYard and come right back. Okay, thank you. Okay, so friends, I want to have this conversation. I think that there are three groups. I'm gonna repeat this when Sibongile gets back on screen. But I think I'm in a hotel in Medellin for the Exodus Summit Medellin meetup. If you're not in the Exodus Summit community, you should be. ExodusSummit.com/community. Right now, it's $1 period to join the Exodus Summit community. $1 one time, and you get information like where there are meetups. I think that there are three groups of women, or some groups of women, when we start talking about Black women in retirement. There are the I'm raring to go. Let's say four. I'm raring to go to retirement. There are the what I even do women when it comes to retirement. And then there are also the I don't want to retire because these people in my life are going to drive me, they're going to work me to death, right? Leaving a career, leaving work, leaving a job is going to mean that I'm going to end up having to do for everyone else in my life. And so I think that there are groups of women who have, when they start talking about retirement, They have feelings that they're not allowed to say out loud because somebody like me might judge them when really there's more going on when we talk about retirement than just leaving work. For some women, it's leaving a full identity. For some women, it's opening yourself up to being worked to death by your family. And then for some women, also, we didn't, also, there's a lot of financial stability questions. I think today, what we're going to talk about is going to give you a new perspective on what your retirement could be. So, Sibongile says she's just a regular retired Black woman. And that's good news. That's good news. You don't have to be a super powered person, a superhero, right? You know, they call Black women. You don't have to be a superhero to enjoy your retirement. So, Sibongile, welcome back.
Thank you. Now, how's that? I don't hear echo anymore. Do you?
It's not an echo, it's just a little hollow sounding, but it's better. I think it's better. Friends, can y'all let us know if it's better?
That could be because I don't have a lot of stuff in this room. Is in this building is all concrete. So
I think it's better. This is as good as it's going to get. When I'm in Bogota, you sound like what I sound in my office in Bogota because everything is the walls are,
because it's empty in here.
yeah. Yeah. So when did you retire?
So I retired January 27th, which it wasn't official until I guess February 1st, 2024.
2024. What kind of work did you used to do?
I was a civil servant. I worked for the federal government for 20 years, but not in one agency. I worked for the post office. I did a few months with the IRS. I did 6 years with the post office, 6 years with USDA, and 8 years with CDC.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. When
That's
you
the
were
only reason why I could stay 20 years because I was able to move around.
to bounce, okay. When and what age were you when you retired?
60, 61.
When you started looking at retirement, did you have what were your thoughts? So this was February of 2024. Let's talk about like February of 2023. What were you thinking when you were seeing retirement coming down the line for you? How did you feel about
Well,
it?
I think that was the year we went to Morocco, right?
Yeah.
2023.
Uh,
And that was almost literally a year before I retired.
yeah.
And I think that trip made me determined to retire as soon as possible.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
Well, you know what? And this is gonna sound, some kind of way, but I never wanted a job.
Yeah.
I just always wanted to be a writer. I never wanted to be a school teacher or a nurse or, work at a, dental office. I never wanted to work a job.
Uh,
I just always wanted to have the money to do the things I wanted to do, which was right. I wanted to be a jet setter. I wanted to be an expatriate, um, you know, right all over the world, that kind of thing. So I can't say that there was any job that I ever really wanted. Um, Ultimately, I did get a degree in English. I got a bachelor's and a master's degree in English, and I did teach as an adjunct, for a little while.
okay.
But I don't know that I wanted to do that way back then. I only wanted to do that once I decided to go back to school and get my degree.
Right.
And that was really only, I only really went back to school in order to build my credentials for writing. I didn't want to just be somebody out here just writing whatever. I wanted to have the background and the foundation for writing. Mhm.
Okay.
I don't know if
So
that answers.
yeah, all jobs are means to an end, and we get it confused when we start thinking that the job is the end goal
Mhm.
instead of thinking of the job as it helps me to live the life that I want to live.
And of course, that depends on what kind of life you want to live,
Yeah.
you know?
Hmm. Yeah. So if you want to jet set, right, or you want to be a writer, sometimes the job is in the way of the real life that we want. But in the United States of America, they tell you that the job should have the priority,
Mhm.
not the thing that
And
you
not
really.
only that, I kind of grew up in a place where my my dream and goal of being a writer and a jet set writer um, um, was not realistic, right?
Okay.
It's like, no, what do you really want to do?
Okay. Oh, you talk. So like if you said it to other people, they'd be like, "Girl,
Yeah, it's like I want to be a writer. And it's like we don't know nobody that's a writer. What makes you
yeah.
think you gonna do it?
Hmm.
You know. I always tell the story about how when I graduated from high school, like I lost both my parents when I was still in high school, and so my grandmother asked me upon graduating from high school, so what do you, baby, what you want to do? What you want to do with your life? What you want to do with yourself? And I said, well, I want to be a writer. She's like, oh, baby, black people don't do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I think for a long time I believed it. I
Hmm.
believed what she said, and which is the reason why I got a late start. But I've always written, yeah, for many
Good.
years.
Yeah. Yeah. So we get told that we have to pursue things that are realistic. Even though there are plenty, just because you don't know somebody who does it doesn't mean that there aren't plenty of people who are doing it. Um,
And of
but
course,
yeah,
I knew plenty of people who were doing it um, at the time. Toni Morrison, Alice Walker, it was plenty of black folks doing it, but she didn't know of any, right? But she only had a fourth grade education. So,
okay.
she may not have known any black. I mean, I didn't know them personally, but I knew black people did
Yeah,
it. So I figured if those black people could do it, so could I.
so could I. That's right. That's right. Yeah, okay. So now we're in Morocco and we're having a grand old time. If y'all don't know, friends, the Exodus Summit community meets up around the world. We're Black women who are interested in living abroad or spending significant time abroad. And we meet up just like we're meeting up in Medellin, Colombia in 3 hours. We met up in Morocco, 2023, and we were in whatever the city is called,
America.
Marrakesh. Our meetups are kind of like a sneak attack for some women because they think they're coming to the meetup, and what they're really coming to see is what life could be like if they lived in that place, and what would life be like if they were retired. So our plan worked on you then. So you came
I
to
think
Morocco.
so. Well, I always, like I said, I always kind of had the dream of moving abroad and living abroad. Um, but it wasn't until the pandemic, until I started watching you and watching Rashida and watching Adelia, that I said, okay, so people are still doing this sort of thing, still wanting to do this sort of thing, and it's still possible, even at my age, right? And not only that, because my husband is from Trinidad and Tobago, I felt that I even had a better chance to do it, right? Which is where we had initially planned to go. But after looking at things, and I'm sure we'll get to that later, but so yeah, during the pandemic, I think I started going through my menopause thing. It was like, okay, the world is going to hell in a handbasket. What are you gonna do, Sibongile?
Mhm. Right.
And I was ready to retire. Like I said, I never wanted to have a job. I felt like I had enough time that I could do it. And my thing was always to get my student loans paid first, right?
Okay.
Pay that off, and then I could retire. Because at that, once I got rid of that bill, I didn't care. I could have worked at McDonald's if necessary, right?
Okay.
But and so yeah, I was one of those fortunate people whose student loans were forgiven.
Good.
Yeah. So yeah, I
Okay.
was excited about that. And once that happened, I was like, it's all like popcorn now. So
When
yeah.
So there was a year between Morocco and when you actually retired. What did you do in that year to get yourself ready for retire? Thank you very much, wise words, CK, for asking that question.
Um, I well basically just trying to make sure I had ducks in a row. Of course, when you're working for the government, there's a whole lot of paperwork and stuff you have to go through in order to make sure that you're ready make sure that you're eligible to retire, right? Because I wasn't 62 yet.
Okay.
It so happens that I had about, get this, I had about over 1,000 hours of sick leave.
No. Okay.
And the only reason why that was good is because it added to my years.
Oh.
And so
Okay.
that's why I was able to retire early. But it's like I never took off sick.
Yeah.
I would feel bad to take off, if I took off for a day if I didn't feel well or something. So I
Mm.
never took off sick, and I had over 1,000 hours of sick leave, probably about 1,200 hours of sick leave or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
that's
a
a
year.
lot.
That's
I
like
don't
6.
know, but it allowed me to retire at 60, 61.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, once I started seeing it more and more how it was possible, um, of course, I tried to pay off any debt that I had, but don't get it twisted. I retired with debt.
Okay. Okay.
We still had a house, we still had car notes, all of those things, but just looking at what I knew I would receive in retirement. And also, I started doing some other little gig works just to make a couple dollars. I taught English as a second language on Cambly, which I said I was going to try and do it here, but I just haven't gotten around to doing it yet. But
Okay.
so I did that. I did some background acting. Y'all know Atlanta is like the place for movie stars now. So I did some background acting. I did that. That was a lot of fun. That's one thing that I miss about being in Atlanta. But and then I did some scoring for a testing company. I did that just to make a little extra, a couple extra dollars. But other than that, I just started looking at more and more videos about where to go. We did go to Trinidad and try for me to get residency there at one time.
Mhm.
My husband still has citizenship,
Okay.
and so the process for getting residency, even being married to a Trinidadian, was not. It was not easy as you would imagine, or
Okay.
might think it would be.
Okay.
We went, got all of our paperwork together, and went and made an appointment. That was only just to make an appointment, right? Just to make an appointment. I didn't have an attorney there. I didn't know any attorneys there. I didn't know anybody that knew immigration attorneys there. So we were basically trying to do it on our own. And so we went to, I think it's the Ministry of Security in Trinidad. And they said, okay, you got all your paperwork. Come back in 4 months for an interview.
Okay.
And so that meant spending the money to come back for an interview. I was also still working at that time. That meant taking off work again to go back.
Okay.
And also when they scheduled the interview for me to come back, it was like maybe 2 or 3 weeks before Carnival. And that's like going to Trinidad 2 or 3 weeks before Carnival is like it will basically drain your bank account, right? The
Mhm.
flights are ridiculous, the hotels, everything is ridiculous. So, we was like, okay, we'll try that again some other time. So that was one thing. Another thing that I was doing to prepare, but when I started watching videos about Panama, more and more Panama seemed more, it seemed easier somehow. Um, we decided to do the tour for Charlotte's tour, Charlotte Van Horn and Black expats in Panama.
Mhm.
We did that tour. Actually, we only did that tour about a year ago, but we were watching videos about it all along. At least I was, and I was kind of talking about it, putting it in my husband's ear, trying to make him consider someplace other than Trinidad, right?
Yeah.
But his thing was he never wanted to live somewhere where they didn't speak English. He wanted to go somewhere where he didn't have to learn another language. And so I really didn't think Panama would be, our destination. But I just kept talking about it, convinced him to take the tour last year. And once we took the tour, comparing the two, Panama to Trinidad, it was kind of like a no-brainer.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So hold on. I want to talk about that. Can you tell? So when, when, let's do this. So you talked about how you got your ducks in a row for retirement, filled out your paperwork for the federal government, addressed the debt, even though you did not feel like you needed to pay everything off before you retired, started some gig work so that you would know how to make some money, which is really cool. Acting as a gig is really cool. How much does a background actor get paid in the ATL?
Not as much as we'd like to imagine.
But could a person who needs to supplement their income, like they just need the money to eat, could they do
Yeah,
background?
you could, but I would say you have to have a lot of stamina. I think it's a young person's game, because generally you get paid anywhere from about $80 um, to maybe 100 and I got paid up to maybe $160 for like a 12, 13 hour day.
Okay.
So it's a lot of sitting around waiting. You may be there for 12, 13 hours a day and only get on camera once. And that time on camera may or may not even hit the actual screen, right?
Okay.
So you spend a lot of time sitting around waiting. You meet a lot of people, a lot of other people, some who are, trying to break into the business and be for real stars.
Uh-huh.
But I tell people, there's a lot of older folks who do background acting because they need old people in movies too, right?
Yes. Yeah.
My husband did. I finally got my husband to do some background acting. He even did some. And it's not something that you can really make a living from unless you are literally going to make yourself available every single day, all day, for potentially $100 a day,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Or unless you're going to get an agent and maybe take some acting classes and want to progress further.
Okay.
A background actor does exactly that. They are in the background. You're not going to be a star. You're not going to meet the stars. You just waiting for them to say, okay, clap, and then that's it. I actually made as little as $50, a $50 gift certificate on one set. We were there for 2 days though. And that was just for a 4 hour day, and I was an audience member. And so that was like for $50, a gift card, right? Not even a check.
Not in cash.
But it was a lot of fun. And if you looking for something to do as a background, as a retired person, and particularly if you are in the Atlanta area, because that's where a lot of work is. So yeah, it's
So
fun. It's fun.
how did you get the first yes? Do they just put out like a call for back?
So yeah, like casting is not as difficult as it once was. When I first got to Atlanta years ago, before Tyler Perry, before all of that, before so deaf, before all of that,
Okay.
before Olympic season. This was in early 90s.
Okay.
They had a casting office, right? There was a casting company there, but you would have to get your 8x10 glossy, go to the casting agent. They would interview you and maybe put your information on file. It was a completely different setup. Now they have, if you go on Facebook, like they have a Facebook presence, Central Casting, which is one of the probably premier casting companies.
Okay.
They're located in New York, LA, and now Atlanta, right? You can register with them, or you can just, go on Facebook and look for the casting companies on Facebook.
Okay.
And when they put out something, you just go to the link. You have to be careful though, because of course there are scammers out there who say, "Oh yeah, we're gonna put you in Spike Lee's new movie,"
Uh-huh.
and it doesn't quite work like that.
Mm.
So Central Casting, you have to actually register with locally, and then they will send you emails so that you know when something is available. Then there are other casting companies in Atlanta. Destination Casting, I think, is one of them. I think she does a lot of casting for Tyler Perry movies. Tailor Made Casting is one. So, and then of course, you know how the algorithm works. Once you start looking for stuff on Facebook, you'll start seeing more and more of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was how I saw some. I started Facebooking and Googling and just signing up for different things. And then once you register with those companies, they'll just send it to you in your email. So.
Okay, good. All right. So that sounds really interesting. So
Mhm.
if you're a creative person and you want to meet other creative people, that sounds like a nice way to do
It
that.
was fun. I met a lot of interesting people.
Good.
Yeah, yeah.
Good. So when you're thinking about retirement, did you always think that you would retire abroad? And did your husband always think that y'all would retire abroad?
Well, I had been, like I said, I had been talking it up for years. I always wanted to, even when I didn't think it was possible.
Okay.
Um, I never knew anybody in my family or in my neighborhood or anybody that just went abroad, right?
Yeah.
Anybody that traveled um, abroad, they travel because they were in the military. Like my uncle, my brother, they were in the military, so they served overseas. I had one aunt who I think she was part of my inspiration because she used to go on cruises before Black people went on cruises.
Uh-huh.
She had her own business in Detroit, and she was kind of like the glamorous person in our family, right? And so those were only people that I knew that traveled. When we traveled and went on vacation, it's so funny to me when people take their kids on vacation, and I don't have kids, so I know I don't understand, but they take their kids on these fabulous vacations. And it's like, when I went on vacation as a kid, we did like a road trip to Little Rock,
Okay.
maybe Detroit, right? That was our vacation.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't really know anybody growing up that traveled. I didn't have any friends whose parents traveled. I think I got the idea for moving abroad and traveling again from reading about the expatriate writers, James Baldwin, Zora Neale Hurston, Josephine Baker, people like that left and went to other countries to live. And I was like, okay, so Black people have been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
Just nobody I know.
Yes. That's right. That's right.
Mhm.
So your husband being from Trinidad, did that mean that when you said I want to retire abroad, did that mean that he was like, sure? Did
Well, he had this running joke. Whenever I said I want to retire, I want to live abroad, he would always say, "Well, I already live abroad." He had been in the U.S. for what, over 60 years, maybe.
Okay.
He had been in Atlanta longer than I had been in Atlanta.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because originally I'm from St. Louis, Missouri.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, so he would always say, "Well, I already live abroad. It ain't no big deal to me." And so, but of course, I just kept. I don't want to say I was nagging him, but I just kept putting it in his ear. And of
So,
course, we traveled, so you know, we saw what was possible.
okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you started working on the Trinidad residency for you, was it because you thought you wanted to live specifically in Trinidad, or was it just a thing to have in the back pocket? Was it because you wanted to live somewhere else in the Caribbean and that would give you access?
Well, I probably could have gone anywhere. Um, I wanted it to be someplace that would be comfortable for him,
Hmm.
that he would be comfortable at or in. In our relationship, I'm probably the risk taker.
Okay.
Never would have guessed that, right? And so, as the risk taker, like I said, I probably would have went just about anywhere. Um, if he had said, "Let's go, let's try Timbuktu," I'd be like, "Okay, come on, let's go," right? So Trinidad, we chose Trinidad first because um, that's a place that I know he's familiar with, right?
Right.
Even though he hadn't lived there for over 60 years.
Yeah.
So, and I've been to Trinidad several times, of course, and I love the environment. I love the atmosphere. It's very laid back. Um, and so, yeah, I definitely could have been there. Trinidad, Tobago is very nice. I don't know if you've ever traveled to either of
Not
those,
yet.
but
Not
it's
yet.
a very island. When they say laid back, how the Caribbean is laid back, it's very laid back, except for Carnival, of course.
Yeah.
Carnival is like off the heezy. But just a day to day life for particularly for retired people, older people. It's just chill, you know. If you like a lot of stuff to do, like nightlife and things like that, I didn't experience that in Trinidad because that's just not what we do.
Yeah.
Like a lot of partying or whatever, other than Carnival.
Uh-huh.
Um, so I was prepared to just sit back and have all the time in the world to simply write.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you look at the cost of living in Trinidad? And was that a thing
Um,
that affected your decision?
no, not really. Even though Trinidad is probably a little more costly than Panama.
Hmm.
I think it could be. I'll put it that way. It could be. It depends on what kind of life you want to live.
Sure.
Um, in terms of like groceries, maybe the cost of, and this is one of the reasons we eventually chose Panama. Um, Groceries in Trinidad is probably a little more.
Yeah.
It's an island, so everything they get is imported, or most everything they get is imported. Also, healthcare. Healthcare for him would have been a little easier because as a citizen, he's still entitled to some stuff. For
Okay.
me, I would have had to get private healthcare, the insurance that I had, already, which is Blue Cross Blue Shield. That wouldn't work in Trinidad. Medicare wouldn't work in Trinidad. That sort of thing. So that was something that we considered. Also in Trinidad, they drive on the other side of the street. So I said, well, if I'm going to drive in another country, Panama would be easier because they drive on the same side of the street as in the US.
Uh-huh.
Also, the change of the currency exchange, you know, um, that wouldn't, be hard to figure out because it's exactly the same. They use the dollar here. So, I mean, all of those things I think made it easier. Healthcare, I think, is more accessible here for particularly for me. Um, they do have Blue Cross Blue Shield here, which is what I've had for years. Although because I had it under the federal government, um, they have some providers here that I could go to, but not everywhere.
Okay.
Um, what else? Also, Medicare, you can use Medicare here, Medicare Advantage in emergencies. I don't think you can use it for like just going to the doctor on a regular basis. But for an emergency or something, that comes up, you can use it.
Okay.
They have an expat insurance here, MiniMed expat, which we did get as a backup, just to be able to go to the doctor quickly if we needed to. I mean, so they just had, it was more, it was just, they just make it easier. Panama makes it easier, I have to be honest. Panama makes it easy for retired people to come here.
Okay.
Um,
All right. So when did y'all get to Panama?
don't tell everybody though.
To keep it a secret. It's just between us, me and my closest friends.
I'm like in Atlanta, the people that were born and raised in Atlanta, they get tired of all of the people transplant to Atlanta. So they tell everybody, we full, we can't take no more. So I feel the same way about Panama. We full.
I, not even close. So the there's a big migration. So I saw somebody earlier talking about the Great Black Migration. There is a big migration, not just of Black people,
Mhm.
of Americans, and just worldwide. There's a big migration happening, and I think that some of these places that have a reputation of being welcoming and really nice are going to be stretched a little bit to the limits. But
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's just part of human nature. As long as we've had feet, as long as humans have had feet, we've moved for a better life. And
And truth be told, they've been migrating for years,
yeah,
years.
yeah,
We just are beginning to realize that we can do it too.
us too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Panama, when did you decide on Panama and where in Panama?
So you said when and where?
Yeah, when did y'all decide? So you're working on your retirement, you're working on the Trinidad residency, and then next thing you know, you're in Panama. Is that how it works? Or was it a
Okay, so actually, we were going to go back to Trinidad, to work on the residency again.
Okay.
About, and we had been looking at videos about Panama, but we had already had bought the plane tickets to go back to Trinidad.
Okay.
About 2, maybe 3 weeks before we were going to leave for Trinidad, the honey bunny says, let's try going to Panama just to see. And it's like, okay, but I've already got the tickets for Trinidad. Can you change them? Okay. So I changed the tickets. We took Charlotte's tour. Fortunately, she still had, I think she had maybe 2 seats left on her tour that year. It was April of last year. Changed the tickets, booked the tour, took the tour, and by the end of the tour, dude was like, okay, what we got to do first? What paperwork we got to get first? FBI background checks? Okay, let's do that. And because I didn't believe he was serious, I was kind of dragging my heels. But he was like, okay, what else we got to get? We got to get verification for Social Security. What we got to do?
Okay.
So I was like, okay, I think dude is serious. And so we just got all of that done. We had a 30-minute free consultation with the immigration attorney that Charlotte recommended. And we did that while we were here on the tour.
Okay.
And by the way, the tour was great. Even if you're not thinking about moving to Panama, and this is not necessarily a plug, but maybe, it was a nice trip to take just to see another country and see more than just, the resort.
That's right.
So and after we took that tour, like I said, he was sold. He was sold, even though they speak Spanish here. He didn't care. But again, in terms of the infrastructure, the healthcare opportunity, the medical system or whatever for expats, everything was just in place. The roads, transportation. When we found out we can take a bus for 25 cents, 35 cents, it was like, okay.
Was the tour Panama City, or was it Boquete, or where was the tour?
No, her tour is primarily Panama City, and areas surrounding, like the metro area.
Okay. I don't know if you know this. I'm going on Charlotte Van Horn's Medellin relocation tour starting on Monday.
Really? And
Yes.
we're going in December.
Are you? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see Colombia too.
Charlotte Van Horn is the woman who runs the tour, but her business is called Black Expats in Panama. She does relocation tours, but not only in Panama. This is not the first Medellin, Colombia relocation tour. I don't know how many she's done in Medellin, but at least 2. At least this is at least the second one. I don't know. And so I'm really excited to I start that on Monday. It's the 10th to the 15th. And
so are you thinking about Medellin?
no, I live in Bogota. And I just don't know anything about Colombia. Okay. So I've been in Bogota for a year and a half now, and I know very
Has it
little.
been that long?
It's been that long.
Wow. Okay.
I know very little, and so I'm excited to be on the tour, to learn some stuff about
Yeah.
Medellin and about Colombia as a whole. She's got some black, uh, I don't know, black stuff added into the tour, some cultural stuff.
From an Afro-Colombian perspective.
That's right.
Yeah. Same way with Panama. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so 2 different times I've been sitting in an airport lounge and somebody has walked up to me and said, I just left Charlotte Van Horn's relocation tour and it was phenomenal. And then when I went to I didn't go to the welcome call, I missed the welcome call, but when I watched the welcome call, more than half of the people on tour are repeats, right? Have been to a previous tour with her. So you don't have to think about relocating to take a tour with Charlotte.
Right.
But if you take the tour, you will start thinking about relocating.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's an excellent, especially for someone who may be afraid of traveling alone, or can't get somebody else to go with you, or if you're interested in just seeing another country. I think it's a very easy tour to take and a
Yeah,
safe tour to take, and
yeah,
you'll never be by yourself on the tour,
that's right.
unless you choose to be.
That's right. I will link to Charlotte Van Horn's, I will link to Black Expats in Panama in the description of this video, right? And the link is already here in the chat. And then, of course, after I take the tour, I'll tell you everything I know, y'all. Okay. But I already know to expect it to be fantastic.
As a matter of fact, in June, she had her 50th tour celebration.
Oh,
So she's done like 50 tours in Panama.
mhm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
She's the one. She's the one to ask, or she's the one to learn from. So did your husband say what about the tour or what about Panama switched him on? Like what got him so excited that he was like, "Man, let's do this. Let's get this done."
I think it just felt easy. Like I said, they make it easy. The people that we met on that tour, several of which we are still friends with. Another couple that came here from Atlanta was on the tour with us. They moved here back in October, so they were here. Another sister just came down from New York to do her residency. She was on the tour with us. There's another couple here getting their permanent visas. They were on the tour with us. So it's like, I don't want to say we made instant friends, but we kind of did.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody's just very, everybody's just chill. The whole trip was just chill. By the time you're done, you feel like family,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There's also you've never done the Panama tour though, right?
No, not yet.
There's also a component of the tour where she takes you to Cologne, which is like the city where they try to make out like it's the rough side of town or whatever. But Cologne is a very vibrant city, and yes, there are a lot of things that need to be done there in terms of the country. But we took a tour of Cologne and Portobello, and the gentleman that does the tour guide for that, which is T.O. Jolly. Anybody that's taken that tour, they know who T.O. is. I mean, he does a phenomenal job of talking about the Afro-Panamanian history, the history of Portobello and the people that live in that area. We went to the beach, down there in Portobello. And I've actually taken his tour again since we've been back, because I just love listening to him talk about the Panama from an Afro-Panamanian perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and the fact that if it feels comfortable. Now it's not. Don't think that you can pick up your life in the U.S. and drop it down in Panama. It's not like that.
Okay.
It's very much Latin America. It's very much Central America. So don't come here. I wouldn't suggest that people come here expecting things to be exactly like the U.S., because it is absolutely not.
Okay.
But again, I think for him it was just easier transition,
Mm-hmm.
right? A more secure transition. We had enough information that we were able to. I don't even know how to say it. It was just more secure in terms of knowing how to position ourselves to be here. That makes sense.
Yeah. 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 Instead of just.
Because we had the resources. Charlotte gives you the resources. Like during the whole tour, she has someone there that talks about the real estate. If you want to buy, if you want to rent, you do tours of properties. You do tours of different areas. She has someone there to talk about insurance, health insurance. There's a doctor that comes in. Everybody loves him, Dr. Duncan. He comes in and talks about healthcare in Panama. She has an immigration attorney that will come and talk to you. She has people on her team that can already give you the basic
Yes,
information about different resources that you'll need, right?
that's right. That's
Um, and there's even more than that. I mean, not everybody uses her resources. You know, a lot of people go on the Panama relocation tours, which is
hmm
the lady Jackie. They do her tours, and she has a bunch of resources. And there's also so many people here that people exchange information. You know, you don't have to do everything the same way that somebody else does it. There's a lot of information. It's just easier. It's just easier.
Yeah. So when you're relocating to another place, um, you there are a lot of moving parts. And if you're doing it on your own, it's a thing that people could do on their own without a relocation tour, without a relocation expert. But if you're doing it on your own, sometimes you don't know what you're missing, right? So, like I said, I've been in Bogota for a year and a half. A lot I don't know. There's a lot about it I don't know. But there are some Black women who have made it there. Um, I don't want to say responsible, have made it their mission. I don't know. That sounds really serious. It is serious, I guess. Have made it their business to help guide us into new places,
Hmm.
right? Charlotte Van Horn does it with her tours. Michelle Wedderburn in San Miguel de Allende has created soft landing places for Black people who want to go to Mexico, right? It really just means that you have support instead of being out here like, is the bottom going to fall out from under me because because I missed something important, or because I didn't know some particular thing, or because I got hooked up with a scammer I thought I was talking to a landlord and I'm talking to the scammer, right? Instead, you have somebody who has trusted resources and can give you the support that makes things just smoother. There's no harm in doing things a smoother way. You don't get a
Exactly.
parade for
And
figuring
I
it out.
appreciate that, even though I'll be honest, one of the reasons why I stopped working on my channel is because I didn't want to have to start talking about all of the things that I did to get here. I didn't want to I didn't want to be giving instructions or giving I didn't want to be that person, right?
No, no.
Because the way I did it, you might not want to do it that way.
Yeah,
Or you may not be able to do it that way, right? If you're not retired, you might not be able to do it the way that I did it.
yeah.
Um, but it's a lot of work, and I mean, my hat is off to all of the sisters that are doing that, because including yourself, because I tell anybody, and I'm gonna tell you too, Stephanie. I've been telling people, you and Rashida, y'all lying, y'all make this look easy. YouTube is work, y'all working. I don't care what you say, y'all working.
YouTube is work, but it pays you.
Yeah, but you gonna have to work before you start really getting paid. Cause I promise I ain't got paid one dime from YouTube
Yeah,
yet.
yeah. Yeah, it takes a lot of effort. So so you said that you're not doing YouTube in part because you don't want to do it that way, the way that people want you to do it, which is tell me about moving to Panama. But you
Mhm.
make your channel what you want it to be, right? Your
That's
channel is
true. Yeah,
retirement.
that's true. But if I say that, okay, and I ended it probably with because we hadn't actually decided to move at that time.
Yeah,
But once we decided to move, one, I'm paranoid, and I don't want to put all my business out there.
sure, sure.
But also, I don't want to be the voice of black expats moving to Panama.
Yeah, I
No,
understand that.
not at all.
I understand
And,
that.
and also because there are plenty of people already doing it, and they do it well.
Yeah, so if you revive your channel and you start talking about the things that you want to talk about, and people are always like, "What about Panama? What about Panama?" You just point them to the Panama channels, right? Go to Charlotte, go to these people. I'm not covering that. I think YouTube, because you're a retired Black woman who has ascended, right? Your channel is We Don't Retire, We Ascend. That's your YouTube channel, that's your Instagram. There
Yes.
is an I don't want to place a there is a need to see what life is like after retirement for Black women, particularly for Black women who have interests,
Hmm.
right? Who have said, I always wanted to do XYZ. I always wanted to be a jet setter. I always wanted to be a writer. Now I'm retired. It's my time it's really nice to be able to see you living that life, and YouTube is a
Yeah.
place where you can share that, right?
Yeah, it's funny because, I've always said I am not a morning person. I've never been a morning person.
Okay.
Even when I was working from home full time, I was still late for work every day.
Okay.
And that's how I knew it was time to retire too. I come down, my stuff be like, turn on computer, it's still late, right? And it's so funny because I used to try to do your 6 a.m. co-working with me
Uh-huh.
before work. It only worked a couple of times. I couldn't do it no more. I am naturally not a morning person, and I always feel like, what's the honor in getting up at the crack of dawn? There's no honor in that. I mean, why? If your body is not saying get up, then why? So I don't even know why I went into that whole soliloquy, but so yeah, I don't have a specific thing that I want to do, in retirement other than write,
Yeah.
which I've been doing, right? Um, and some days I just, yesterday I didn't go out at all. I'm actually kind of getting over a cold because I've been running around for the last few weeks a lot. We actually just sold our house in Georgia.
Good.
That was an adventure, especially during Mercury in retrograde.
Ah,
But we finally finished that, so we were excited about that. But I haven't even been able to go out and get my celebratory frozen yogurt because I've had this kind of cold,
oh,
and I'm just kind of coming off of that. But so yesterday, I stayed home all day. I mean, we don't go out every day. There are plenty of things here to do, and I don't live in the city. I live on the other side of the bridge. And
okay.
so we also don't have a car. So we're not going to the city all the time. We're not going out to eat every day. We cook our own meals for the most part, unless I'm just being lazy or it's just too hot.
Okay.
Um, and so our life and our lifestyle is pretty much the same way that it has always been, just very laid back, right?
Mhm.
Um, we're both retired. I'm old. My husband's older. So, we just be chilling mostly, um, watching a lot of television. I'm usually in my room at the computer. Sometimes I'm writing. He sometimes watches television. He likes to go out and do his walk. He walks. He does more exercising than I do.
Okay.
I have a yoga mat. I do stretching and that sort of thing. So I mean, we're not doing excursions every week. We're not. When I saw Rashida last week at the Welcome Wednesdays. That was my first time going to Welcome Wednesday since I've been here. So and it was partially because I had a dental appointment in the city, so I was already in the city. So I mean, there's nothing glamorous about our life or our lifestyle. We just chilling.
Carmen Toffee says you're on your own time, and that's lovely, right? You
That's
just
it.
take
That's
your time,
it.
things that you want
Yeah,
to do.
that's it. My goal is to, like I said, to continue writing, hopefully get some stuff published.
Mhm.
Um, I actually just sent out another query yesterday for my novel. I'm actually trying to journal my experience here, just my day-to-day experience here, because I've kept journals over the years, but never been very consistent. And I intended to start the journal from the first day we got here, which was January 13th.
Oh,
But it took me a while to get settled. So I think I started about 3 months later. So I'm just journaling day to day life, basically here in Panama. Maybe one day that might turn into something more. But for now, I'm just journaling.
okay.
Um, and what else am I doing? What else am I writing? Oh, I
So
do my
you got
Substack. That's
you
that's that's my online writing that I do the most lately. Substack and the website. So
so you've had a couple of pieces published on Sisters AARP. So when you
mhm.
say you're writing, you mean you're writing for people to read, right?
Yes,
So there's a
yes.
difference between I'm writing and I'm writing things that are being published or to get published. And you've had
Hmm.
a couple of pieces already published through Sisters AARP, already two pieces this year, right? They're both.
Yeah, they were both in the same um, the same month. It's in the March
March.
edition of Sisters AARP.
I've linked in the description of the video, maybe to both. If not, I will put both in the thing. I know I linked to this one. Yeah. So this is a different, I'm trying to be chill because you're very chill about writing. I'm trying to be chill, but this is a transformation. This is a shift. This is you going from, people said writing is not a thing that is even possible for me. And so why bother, to I'm a writer, like in retirement at a time when other people are like, oh, retirement means stepping back from everything. You're like, I'm actually going to step forward into new
Well,
things.
that's what I mean by we don't retire, we ascend. Because just because you retire from work doesn't mean you retire from life, right?
That's right.
And retire means to retreat or to pull back. But no, we're not doing that. None of that. We are ascending. We're reaching higher heights, right? So yeah, absolutely.
What let's talk more about ascending. What did you okay, so did you always think of retirement in these terms? Did you always think higher heights? I have higher tattooed on me, right? Higher. Every round goes higher, higher. I sincerely believe that life
Absolutely.
is rounds, is chapters. Every chapter is better and better. Every round
Yes.
goes higher, higher. But did you always think about retirement in that way, or did you have to? Was that a mindset shift?
No, I didn't because, well, for starters, my parents didn't retire.
Okay.
Um, and most people that I knew growing up, if their parents retired or grandparents retired, they basically retired to continue living the same life that they always lived,
Yeah.
just not working.
Yeah.
And if they were fortunate, the ones we saw as fortunate was those who had some type of pension,
Yeah.
who worked at the post office all their life, worked at one of the car companies all their life, Ford, General Motors. Um, and so the people that we saw as being fortunate, they were just fortunate enough to not have to work. They didn't necessarily do other things once they retired. And in fact, when I worked at the post office, I often tell people when I worked at the post office, people would work and we'd hear about someone who came in, clocked in, passed out at the clock, and never came back.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Or they had two boards in the community room or break room. One board was the retirement board, where you would see people, they post their pictures of their retirement party, they be dressed to the nines, and then 2 weeks later you see them on the next board, which was the obituary board.
Yeah.
So, it's like, and that's what made me go back to school too, because I felt like I don't want to die at the post office.
Yeah.
And so, retirement, and especially for Black women, like I said, my mother didn't retire. My mother died before she reached retirement age. My father died before he reached retirement age. When my grandmother retired, it was because she basically couldn't work anymore. And of course, like a lot of grandmothers and great grandmothers, she worked cleaning houses for white people. And they paid her cash, right? Promised her a pension that she never got. So if it wasn't for my grandfather's Social Security, she wouldn't have had anything, okay? And so when I saw retirement, that's what I saw.
Yeah.
And because I never wanted to work a job anyway, I just felt like I didn't know if I would retire or ever could retire. I only learned about investing and things like that after I took Adelia's workshop.
Yep.
And so in terms of retirement, all I ever thought was, if I ever retire, I wanted to be somewhere warm and somewhere close to a beach, right? Those were my only requirements.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't until I got closer to retirement or closer to retirement age that I started to really try to formulate what retirement might look like, how I could do it in terms of finances. Um, and fortunately, the one thing that working for the government afforded me was a pension,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know if that answered the question, but
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it was about your approach to retirement. So you grew up not seeing people retire and live a better. You saw people either not get to retire or retire because of sickness and illness. And instead you retired to ascend, right? Retired to in a live a different life in a different way instead of more of the same but worse, right?
yes.
So and so you did that by moving to Panama, by writing for publication, right? Writing to have it put out into the world, and by making sure that you have a lifestyle that you're excited about, a lifestyle that is for you and not what someone else says your life should be at whatever age, 61.
And also by um, not just downsizing, but trying to live below my means.
Okay.
I think that's important. Recognizing that I have everything that I need,
Yeah.
right? Um, Before we came here, we had a home, we had a car, we had food, you know. Um, I've never been like a fashionista, so, most of the clothes that I had were for work.
Uh-huh.
And so learning that you can be happy without all of the things. Like I said, I've never been a fashionista, so designer stuff was never important. When I finally got a brand new car, it was because it was during the pandemic and I was saving a lot of money by not having to put gas in the car, not eating lunch out,
Yeah.
2 or 3 days a week, not stopping for Starbucks every morning, because
Uh,
that was my only way to put myself in the headspace to go to work.
yeah.
So when I realized I was saving money, I was like, I've never had a new car. So I did buy a new car, but I said I want a new car. I just didn't want a new car note. And so I just I got a car where the car note was not ridiculous. Um, but even that became a bit of an investment because I sold it to come here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And because I was working from home, I wasn't driving it as much. So, it was a lot of miles on it. So I got a good piece of change for it. So, but living below our means, we do eat out here, but mostly we don't. I know people who, they like to say that they don't cook.
Uh-huh.
But because our diet has always been such that we eat a lot of vegetables, like a
Yeah.
lot of green veggies. And in Panama, you're lucky if you get green vegetables in a restaurant. If
Yeah.
you get them, they probably gonna be smothered with something.
Uh-huh.
And I'll be honest, I'll be honest, I'm not crazy about Panamanian cuisine.
Yeah.
It's good, but it's very limited. And we
Yes.
don't eat meat, we eat fish. So I have to make sure we have to make sure we get some greens, either fresh salads, and here salad means coleslaw.
Uh-huh. Same in
So
Costa Rica. Costa Rica and Panama, similar in that way, right? Now
mhm,
I'm a rice and beans girl. Rice and beans me. But in Costa Rica, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, okay, the
so
typical, you having rice and beans, and if you get sick of that, you're gonna have to cook or go to a
you have
restaurant
to
that is a different.
rice and beans, or if you want to eat a lot of meat, they eat a lot of
Hmm.
meat here.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
Sauce is one of the things they really like here. That's like a national thing here.
Okay.
I didn't eat that when I ate meat.
Okay.
I ain't eat it now. They eat a lot of octopus. I don't
Yeah.
do a lot of seafood. I may eat shrimp every once in a while, but I'm not eating octopus.
Okay. So when you talk about below your means, do you know a percent? So your life in Georgia, the cost of your life per month in Georgia and the cost of your life per month in Panama, are they about the same? Is Panama coming in any lower?
Um, it's kind of hard to say. We've only been here for about 7 months.
Yeah.
So it's a little hard to say for sure right now because there's a lot of hidden costs to moving abroad that I think
Right.
people don't understand at the beginning.
Yeah.
And it was easier to keep up with it before we moved here. It's so funny because we started trying to save the receipts. I called myself was going to write it down and keep track of what we were spending.
Yeah.
And before we knew it, we had a big old bag of receipts. So, needless to say, I ended up shredding most of those receipts because it's not going to happen. So there's a lot of hidden costs, a lot of little things. But I don't think we're spending any differently, if that makes sense.
Okay.
We didn't, let me see, how can I say? Well, we're definitely saving money with regards to transportation. We had 2 cars in Atlanta. We had a car note, car insurance, that's gone.
Good.
Now with the sale of the house, we won't have a mortgage anymore.
Good.
We were also still paying gas, electric, and water on that house until it sold.
Right.
So if you have a house to sell, those are things to think about. We also had to keep the lawn cut for potential buyers.
Yeah.
Right. In Atlanta, we had sanitation. We had a sanitation bill. We had gas, electric, water. We had a pest control service. We had lawn care service. All of those things are pretty much gone. Now we have our rent, which is more than our mortgage, but with our rent, we have an electric bill and Wi-Fi. No gas, no water, no car note. In our community, there's a van service a shuttle that takes you back and forth to the kind of commercial area. As residents, we can ride there for free, right? If we decide to take a taxi or an Uber from that same area, it's maybe a couple of dollars. Now, if we go to Panama City, the Uber bill will be a lot more.
Yeah.
But we've even taken like the local, it's like a local bus service, not the metro, but like a local bus service that comes from like out in the country somewhere, and it brings local folks in to work and stuff like that. We've even taken that for like $1. So, because even though we're paying for Ubers, we are not paying as much as we would be had we still had a car note. So like
Yes.
in 7 months, in 7 months, we've only paid maybe a month and a half worth of car notes.
Mm-hmm.
So for 7 months, we've had transportation for the same amount. We would have had 1 or 2 car payments.
Going to a place where you don't need a car is the quick way to cut out money in your budget, right? Yeah. Because it's not just the car payment, it's the insurance and the gas and the repair work and the tires and the windshield wipers, child, right? All of that.
But however, I did get my Panamanian driver's license, so.
Good, okay. Did you have to take the test?
Maybe get a car.
Did you have to take the test to get the license, or did they just say, show us your other license and now you can have this one?
So I had to, in order to get a driver's license in Panama, you will need to take your current U.S. driver's license to the embassy to have it notarized.
Okay.
Then that notarization has to go to a Panamanian apostille.
Okay.
Excuse me. Mm-hmm. From there, you have to take a blood test.
Oh, really?
They want, I guess, in case something happened, they want to know what your blood type is, I suppose.
Okay.
And then from there, you go to the actual driver's license office. They do an eye exam, quick hearing exam and that's it. But you have to go like 1, 2, 3, 4 places to get your driver's license here. But you don't have to take a license. You don't have to take a test unless you're taking it for, getting it for the first time. If you don't have a license from the U.S. or if your license is expired or something like that.
Okay. So the question is, where in Panama, or do you want to tell us the name of your city, or are we just calling
I'm
it?
in Panama Pacifico.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I didn't ask you that. Towns are, small.
Which is right across the bridge, the Bridge of the Americas. And it's in an area that used to be U.S. military base, U.S. Air Force base, I think, Air Force. And it was given back to Panama at the same time the Panama Canal was.
Okay.
And so they've kind of created a community, and we toured this area with Charlotte's tour, even though we didn't look at apartments. No, we looked at one apartment, I think, a new apartment complex that they have out here, but we looked at 1 or 2 houses. Yeah.
Is your apartment, the home that you live in Panama, it's an apartment. Is it a newish building? How old is your building?
Actually, the building that we are in is probably one of the oldest apartment buildings.
Okay.
In the community.
Okay.
We also liked it out here because we didn't want to live the high-rise life. And anybody who's been to Panama City knows that it's like the city of high-rises.
Yeah.
And that's fun, like if you're on vacation, but I couldn't imagine myself living in a high-rise for the rest of my life.
Okay.
I wanted to be closer to the ground.
Okay.
And so our building is maybe about 6 stories high.
Okay.
We actually live on the first floor,
Oh.
which is 1 floor up. So we still have to go up a flight.
Mm-hmm.
But if I needed to get out of here in a hurry, I could go up and down the steps.
Okay.
I had to think about those things.
And did your building come with amenities?
I'm sorry.
Did your building come with amenities?
The only amenities that we have a pool. There's a pool here. There's not a gym.
Okay.
Although in the community they have those little outdoor free community type gyms where you can outside. But there's a actual gym not far from here. There's a monthly fee or annual fee or something, whatever. If you want to go lift weights and that sort of thing. But in our building, there's no gym.
Okay. So when you looked at that apartment and you saw that rent was going to be more than your previous mortgage had been in Georgia, were you automatically like, it's okay, we're in? Or were you like, this is not what we thought when we were thinking about Panama? This was not part of the plan to pay more than we had been paying back home?
I was okay with the possibility of paying more in rent because I knew we would be paying less in other areas.
Okay. Okay.
But one thing that I found out about after we signed our lease is that periodically they turn off the gas for maintenance. So I knew they did that. I didn't know it was going to happen to us a month after we got here.
Oh no. How long was it?
It was a month, 30 days.
That's a strange thing about Panama. I've heard that from someone else, maybe someone else. Yeah. Every building goes through a cycle of that.
And like I said, I heard about it, but it was after we had already signed the lease.
Yeah.
We signed our lease for 2 years because I'm not trying to be moving all around. I know people say, no, you're gonna move 4, 5, or 6 times. No.
Me neither. Yeah.
I don't anticipate that. And I found this apartment in Quinta 24. And so I knew what I wanted, and I had a real estate agent. This is the apartment she showed us. She also showed us another apartment on the 6th floor, which was exactly the same, but we chose this one, and we chose it because it was lower to the ground. It has a little tree outside the balcony. I can see people walking past. I can hear the dogs barking. I can hear the children playing and We have people over us, you know, the kids be yelling upstairs to their mama, mama. So I was like, yeah, this feels comfortable.
Okay.
You can see the trees, you hear the birds. I love it.
Good.
So I don't even know where I was going with that. In terms of amenities,
Uh-huh.
we have a pool. Um, oh, the gas. So yeah, our gas got cut off.
Hmm.
We were here a month or two, and I was a little nervous about it, but because it's always the only thing that it affected for us was our cooking, because I have a gas stove, and the hot water, right? So um, I'm one of the very fortunate people who have the best landlord. I have a
Okay.
great landlord.
Okay.
And my landlord, he felt so badly, I think, about the gas being shut off right away that he actually installed an electric shower head, so we wouldn't have to take cool showers. But
Nice.
it was very nice until it drew so much power that it knocked out the electricity in the back room. But anyway, he came and fixed it. He comes in, if something breaks or if something's not working, he'll. And not only did he do that, he also gave us a burner, a two burner
The thing. Okay. The
to cook.
propane tank.
No, just a little two burner electric,
Electric. Okay.
yeah, burner.
Yeah.
Um, and we also had an air fryer.
Okay.
So between that and making salads, sandwiches, I could still pop my popcorn on a little burner. So we didn't starve. We
Yeah.
ate and we took showers. And because it gets so warm here, if you take a shower about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the water ain't cold.
Let's talk about the weather. Let's talk about the heat and humidity. How
Mhm.
does it compare to Atlanta?
It's probably a lot more humid. I wouldn't say it was much hotter. In some cases, Atlanta has been hotter this year
Mhm.
than it has been here, especially because now we're in the rainy season. So for me, because I can take a lot of heat, I can't stand to be cold. I
Okay.
can't stand to be cold. As a matter of fact, I turn on the air conditioning here because I shut the windows for the noise, but I'm ready to turn the air conditioner off because it's getting kind of cool.
Okay.
So yeah, if you don't like heat and humidity, because you know how some people say, well, it's the heat, not the humidity.
Yeah.
And that's the way I feel, but some people say it's all the same.
Yeah.
But if you don't like either one of those,
That's not the right choice. Panama City or the surrounding area is not the right choice if you're
I
not
don't
willing
think
to deal with
so.
heat and humidity.
I can take the heat. I will sweat all day. I will sweat bullets and not complain.
Really?
But I just don't want to be cold. And that
Okay.
was that was that was my intention in retirement. I want to be somewhere that never gets cold. When you say boycott winter, I'm
Uh-huh.
all for it. Yeah,
Good.
I'm all for it. Yeah.
Good. Okay. I want to let everyone know that Exodus Summit 2026 early bird tickets go on sale very soon. And so if you're not getting updates from the Exodus Summit team in your inbox, it's time to go to exodussummit.com/coming soon and make sure that you are on the wait list so that you know when early bird tickets go on sale. Exodus Summit 2026 Exodus Summit is our annual virtual summit for Black women and their families who want to plan a move abroad. And if you're hearing about Panama here, right? I'm in Medellin, Colombia right now. If you're hearing about some places and you're like, I'd like to hear more specifics about these places or more about the process and how to get to these places, how to actually live my life in these places, whether you're retired or not, you should be on the wait list so that you know when it's time to get your early bird tickets to Exodus Summit 2026. So go to exodussummit.com/coming soon. I believe I'm allowed to tell you that tickets go on sale on next Friday. Next Friday. So I don't know. I didn't type that in right. Hold on. Give me 1 second. exodussummit.com/coming soon. I think this should be a clickable link. Okay, so make sure that you're on the wait list because next Friday tickets go on sale, and the early bird pricing is like our friends and fam. No, I don't think she's joking. I think she's joking because I no longer spill secrets. I no longer do that. Um, the early bird pricing is like our friends and family discount. So if you want the friends and family discount, go ahead and go there. Okay, go ahead and get on the wait list so that you'll get the email reminders that it's time to go ahead and register for the summit. We're talking about some locations that might fit you. If you heard Sibongile say heat and humidity, and you were like, well, we can cross that place off the list.
I saw somebody say Panama is sticky. Indeed, it is. Indeed, it is. I was telling somebody how before I came here, people were saying, "Oh, if you like, good towels, good sheets, those kind of things. If you like nice 400 thread count sheets or whatever, take them with you because they don't have them in Panama."
Yeah.
I think they do have them in Panama, but I brought some 400 thread count sheets with me, and I don't know if it was just me or what, but those sheets felt so heavy and so thick and so sticky. I went out and bought some cheap sheets, right, for $20. I bought one set for $20, and then I found another set in king size, mind you. I bought another set that was on sale for $11.
Yeah. I've found
To
bamboo.
me, those sheets are the best.
I've converted to bamboo sheets because I want a soft feel, but I also don't want to sweat myself to death in that. I don't want to be heat. What is it called? Night sweating myself every night.
Yeah.
So I've switched over to bamboo sheets. They do feel soft, but it's not a thing I can find in Bogota, right? I brought my sheets with me
I haven't
because
tried bamboo yet. I want to try bamboo, but yeah, those cheap sheets saved my life.
okay. Yeah, the thick stuff is not conducive to the heat and humidity probably.
Even like, and we don't always have our air conditioners on because they say the trick to keeping your electric bill low is to not have them all on at the same time, the inverter air conditioners. And so if it's cool enough, we'll sleep with the windows open. And even if it's cool, that humidity ain't no joke.
No, no. Now in Boquete, Panama is the only town I know of, or city, I think it's a city, that is higher altitude. In Latin America, if you want to be in Latin America because of the people and the food and the views and the vistas and all of that, but you don't want to be sweaty, you have to go high altitude. And I think Boquete, Panama is the high altitude choice for most people if they
Yeah.
want to be cooler, but still in Panama. Just like Bogota is the choice if you want to be cooler and in Colombia. So,
Mhm.
that's a good thing that mountains do. They cool you
I've
off.
not been there yet. I've not really traveled all over Panama yet.
Mhm.
But I'm giving myself time to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere, so.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah, you're like me. I was like, I don't want to be. I do know that when people move to a place, sometimes they get into an apartment just for now, apartment, home, whatever. They rent something just for now. Then they get to know the place and find a more, something that's even more suitable. But I
Mhm.
was like, when I sign this lease, me and Olga are gonna go together for 4 or 5 years. Okay, me and my landlord,
Yeah.
we tight for 4 or 5 years. My landlord messed around and had hip replacement surgery, and I was like, Lord, I ain't prayed for nobody lately like I prayed for Olga. I was like, Lord, don't let anything bad happen. I don't want her daughters to come around talking about we got to sell this house.
Okay.
Please protect Olga and her new hip.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
go to, I'm not
I
leaving
would
this.
say barring our landlord, going way up on the rent. I don't have to leave.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, so we had that same philosophy. You and I had that same philosophy. I want to find a place that I want to stay in for more than a year. I don't want to have to be in a place for a year and then start looking all over again. So it
So
was
what made you switch from Costa Rica to Colombia?
a couple of different reasons. One is I just couldn't
And you
find.
probably talked about this, and I haven't seen it yet.
I'll tell you again, I answer questions. One was that I just couldn't find a home that I really wanted to stay in Costa Rica. San Jose, Costa Rica is probably one of the ugliest capital cities in Latin America.
Okay.
right? There are beautiful cities in Latin America with beautiful centros and beautiful like more modern areas, and
Mhm.
Panama City has a real modern section that's got or sections,
Yeah.
really old centro, old town. Costa Rica is just unappealing. San Jose, Costa Rica is unappealing visually.
I hear
And
Costa Rica is expensive too.
it's very expensive, particularly for Central America. It's
Mhm.
probably um I don't know. It's more expensive than like a Baltimore or Philadelphia, which
Wow.
is not what you expect in Central America, right?
No, no.
And so it's more expensive because there are a lot of, I think the reason is there are a lot of US and Canadian companies there. So
Okay.
there are a lot of, because Costa Rica spent a lot of time making sure everybody spoke English. So then a
Mhm.
lot of US and Canadian companies came down there, and that drove all the prices up.
Wow. Okay.
If people are getting paid more, then landlords can charge more, and grocery stores and restaurants can charge more. So it's not that inexpensive. I was okay with the price tag because people in Costa Rica are amazing people.
Okay.
And I was like, well, it's worth the money. Except that I just couldn't find a home or an apartment to rent that was cute,
Mhm.
right? Right. I haven't been to Mexico, haven't spent a lot of time in Mexico and Portugal. There are details in homes in Latin America and other places that
Mhm.
you expect when you don't live in the United States. I want wood heavy doors. I want tile floors. I want these things. And in Costa Rica, I just couldn't find it. And got to Bogota for a few days, and I was like, okay, this is what I was expecting from Costa Rica.
Okay. I'm saying I hear people in Rica come to Panama to shop.
Yes, that's what I was going to have to do, right? When I'm in Costa Rica, I'm going to have to fly to Panama or Miami to do my shopping. If I want
Mhm.
clothes, if I want home goods, housewares, I'm going to have to go to Panama City, which is easy because I'm a fan of Copa Airlines,
Mhm.
or I'm going to have to go up to Miami to shop. That's exactly life in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Well, my our apartment is very cookie cutter. There's nothing old world about it.
Okay.
It's very cookie cutter, which is fine with me. You know,
Yeah.
I had invited somebody to come by not too long ago, and I told them, they was like, "Oh, I can't wait to see what you done with the place." I ain't done nothing with it. It'll be just like coming to your cousin them house that ain't got much. They got a little less than you do. Yeah, I ain't did much with it.
That
Mm-mm.
right. That's not what you're there for. Lower your expectations.
Yes, yes, yes. And
Yeah,
actually, we brought a lot of things with us. We got rid of a lot of stuff.
okay.
Which, by the way, from the time we didn't want to put our house on the market until we had permanent residency. We wanted to be
Okay.
sure that we were residents first before we came.
Okay.
Um, but we got our residency in December,
Good.
signed our lease, and agreed to come back to move in on the 15th of January,
Yes.
which meant we had to go back to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I didn't live in Atlanta, we lived just south of Atlanta.
Uh-huh.
Go back to Atlanta, get everything out of our house, get the house on the market, and sell it in a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got everything out of the house. It didn't sell in a month. It took us about 7 months to get it sold because we just sold it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't suggest anybody do that.
No, absolutely not.
It
No
was it was quite stressful, but we
stress.
got it done.
So
Yeah.
what percentage of what types of things did you take to Panama versus sell?
We brought things that we thought would be useful and also things that we just didn't want to part with,
Yes.
which was not a whole lot of stuff. Most of the things we gave to my bonus son, left it behind for him. I had a ton of books.
Yeah.
I collected books over the years. I had so many books.
Yeah.
And those books alone would probably make our shipping bill twice as much as what it was.
Yeah.
And so I got rid of a lot of books, and I knew that was going to happen. So I brought books that, for whatever reason, was important to me, special to me. So out of all of those books, which was probably easily 1,000,
Yeah.
I probably brought maybe 100.
Wow,
Um,
it's still a lot. Okay.
yeah, we had a floor-to-ceiling bookshelf in the living room. We had a bookshelf in the bedroom, a bookshelf in the guest bedroom.
Okay.
And so basically, we brought all of those books to our first level, spread them around, and told everybody, "Come get what you want."
Okay.
We still, even after that, we still, about 2 or 3 days before the movers came, we still had a ton of books left, and we had a friend who came and just took all of them, took
Oh,
whatever was left. He took all of the books, he took the CDs, he took whatever was left, and so we were real grateful for that. But
good.
and also I hired organization company, a
Okay.
young lady who does organizing. Her and her worker, they came and helped me to organize because I didn't know where to start, right?
Uh-huh.
They came in and helped me organize everything, and so from there it got easier. Yeah.
Good. Okay. Yeah. Support, right? You need support if you're going to have to do something in that quick of a turnaround. Either you
Hmm.
get support or you lose your mind.
Absolutely.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Absolutely. And then maybe a couple of days before we actually left, we called the junk people. They came and got whatever was left to
Okay.
clean out the house. So yeah.
Okay. So then you mostly showed up to Panama with clothes and books? Were there other types and yeah, were there other types of things you had to that you decided to take with you?
Right. Well, what we had shipped was the books were shipped.
Hmm.
Um, we kept our dining table.
Oh,
Yeah, because it's just in good shape. We didn't want to get rid of it.
uh-huh.
And we knew we would need one.
Yeah.
So we brought our dining table. We brought one bedroom set,
Oh,
which we actually use for our guest bedroom here.
okay.
And let me see, a dining table, a bedroom set. Oh, we brought our big TV
Okay.
and our entertainment stand, which was a matching entertainment stand with our bookshelf. We had it custom made. And so since we had to leave the bookshelf, we decided we would bring the entertainment stand and the TV. We brought some of our albums, brought the stereo. Um, and the only thing that we bought when we got here was a sofa, king size bed, and what else? We bought
Kitchen
chairs
stuff?
for the dining table.
Did you bring your kitchen stuff or did you buy it?
If I wasn't going to bring anything else, I had to have my cast iron skillets and
Okay.
my good knives.
Yes. Okay. I just came to the realization at 52 years of age that maybe I don't hate cooking. I've never had good knives.
Yeah, I have
I
a knife that I've had for over 30 years maybe. And
So
it's
how
so funny because some of my stuff I forgot to take it out of how you have your drawer with all of your utensils and stuff.
uh-huh.
I had a drawer with a bunch of utensils and some other knives, including my serrated bread knife.
Uh-huh.
And I forgot to take that out and tell them, yes, we want to take this too.
Oh.
Didn't realize it was still there until the junk people came, and we was like, I guess we're gonna have to junk it. So,
Oh.
but I brought on the flight with me. I brought my one good knife,
Uh-huh.
a couple of my good paring knife, and my cast iron skillets we shipped.
No, okay. And so we see a question, does that mean you drove to Panama? Absolutely not. So you shipped these things, you found a company and they shipped these things down. Was it a horrible process? Was it a smooth process? Was it somewhere in between?
It wasn't horrible. It was a little stressful only because it's the first time I've ever had something shipped internationally.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really know what to expect. What was a typical time to wait. They said 6 to 8 weeks, I think. They picked up our things, but they handled it very well. I guess they contract a company there to pack up your stuff and bring and ship and put it on the truck. They
Yeah.
contract a company here to unpack it and bring it to your apartment.
Yes.
So that process went smoothly. We waited, I think they picked up our stuff on January 10th
Okay.
and they delivered it I think it was close to the end of March. And also that was like on the heels of holidays and stuff like that. So we were hoping to get it sooner, but you know, they brought everything, they packed up everything, put it on the truck,
Mhm.
shipped it, brought everything to this apartment, unpacked everything,
Mhm.
took the trash with them. And only a couple of things got broken. One was one of those cube picture frames.
Okay.
The glass was broken in that.
Okay.
And then we had like small, thin African statue, and part of that got broken, but my husband fixed it with some super glue.
Okay.
So other than that, everything was here. There was a couple times when I was like, wait a minute, I didn't get my salad spinner. I think they forgot that. And then I looked in one of the closets. I was like, oh, here the salad spinner is right here. Like, so
Good.
yeah, they didn't leave anything behind. I got everything that we packed. So
Good. Good. Okay. So a smooth process. And do you want to, you don't have to answer this. You can say pass. Do you know what it cost y'all to ship those things down? Especially like the dining room table, the entertainment center,
yeah,
books. You
and
can
of
say
course
pass.
it depends. Well, no, it depends on the weight.
Yeah.
So it depends on how much it shipped. We didn't ship our whole house.
Right.
We only shipped specific pieces.
Yeah.
So it was, I want to say, a total of about maybe 10,000,
Okay. Yeah.
maybe. No, I take that back. I want to say maybe 7,000.
Okay.
And then once it got here, we had to pay the port fees or something. That was like an additional 800 or something like that.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Yeah, I think that's one of the unknown. So you talked about the hidden costs of moving. One of the unknowns is not the shipping of the stuff, but letting the stuff get into the country. What's it going to cost to get my stuff into the country after we ship it
After
down?
the
The
shipping.
import taxes and customs fees and stuff. That's one of the unknowns that can be your moving company can give you some guidance on that, but it
Mhm.
depends on that one person with that one clipboard what the fees and import taxes are going to be.
Yeah, the one good thing about Panama is with the pensionado visa, right?
Uh-huh.
The duty fees are waived for that one shipment, for your one shipment.
Wonderful.
Yeah, for
Okay.
your first shipment rather.
Panama has a notorious that no, that pensionado visa has notoriously wonderful, like in a good way, benefits.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's good. That's
I think
really
they've
good.
had to crack down because people are, I think they've had to crack down. People are asking for hoopla discounts, and they're not supposed to get them. But I ask for it. I pull my hoopla out every chance I get.
Yes.
Yeah, even if I think I sometimes embarrass my husband because I'm like, look, we get Hubalada discount.
No, but like seriously, because Copa Airlines, who I really appreciate, I really like flying Copa. They give a significant discount to people who are on
I
that
think
visa.
25%.
That's significant.
And not only that, I don't know if you knew that out here in Panama Pacifico, there's a smaller regional kind of airline
Oh no,
in the airport. It's called Wingo. Are you familiar with
I have
Wingo?
seen Wingo in Colombia. Yeah.
It's like right down the street.
Okay. So they don't fly out of the main airport. They have a little airport, a side airport.
You can fly out of the main airport, but why drive all the way to Tucumán when you can just drive, get an Uber right down the road
Nice.
and
Okay.
come to Colombia for, about $100 or something like that.
Hmm. Absolutely. Good, good. Yeah, that Panama is, like we said, is actively courting people who are eligible for that retirement visa. They
Yeah.
require somewhere around, though this is not an exact figure, but somewhere around $1,000 a month in income for life through a
Yeah.
pension, through Social Security, through veterans disability, something. Around $1,000 a month of income for
I think
life.
it's 1,000 for an individual. If it's a couple, it has to be one. I want to say 1,250 for together.
That's nice, right? That's a nice that's a nice dollar figure.
But
And
people
they,
are speculating that they will increase that, you know,
yeah,
in the coming years. So
yeah.
I think they realize, okay, we got something here.
I wouldn't be surprised. Mexico. So Rashida and I in Exodus Summit, we did a Mexico. Um, Rashida and Adelia actually did a special session after one of the Exodus summits on Mexico. I believe it was in 2021. And I believe
Mhm.
at that time you needed $1,800 a month in income to get residency in Mexico. And now it's well over 4,000 from 2021, right? From
For one
2020
person,
for the per person for one person. I don't know what it is for family, but for one person.
I need to
So
use that money.
prices and visa.
Is that a pensionado visa?
They don't, it's a visa, right? It doesn't matter to them if your money is retirement money or if it's job from an actual job money. That number has gone up. So I wouldn't wait on Panama. I wouldn't sleep on Panama.
Can you blame them really? The way we treat
The
Mexicans in
United,
the U.S.
right.
Can you
The
blame
United
them?
the United States, what we don't want is for other places to reciprocate, right? We don't want reciprocity because
Mhm.
it's going to make everything harder for us. So if you're interested in getting residency somewhere, Panama, Mexico, Ecuador, wherever, Colombia, it's time to get on it because prices go up and requirements go up and standards raise. And you don't want to be shut out of a place because there was a time when Mexico was much more accessible than it is today in terms of getting legal residency. And that may happen to Panama as well. Speaking of Mexico, hi, Rashida. Do you want to say hi to Sibongile, your long lost friend?
My long lost friend. I
Hey,
saw you a week ago and I miss you already.
I know it was so good seeing you.
It's good seeing you too.
Yeah, we talked a
Yeah,
little bit about the Panama meetup. She said she had other things to do to come into town. So
I
that's why
saw.
she.
I, for a moment, I felt a way about that. It was like, well, the real reason I came was, but then I checked myself. And we're back. We're together now, Sibongile.
Yes,
Did
back
you mention
together
that
again.
you're going to see her on September 5th?
No,
Shoot.
surprise. I'll be in Panama for the Exodus Summit is doing an international meetup day, meetups all over the world that day. And
Uh-huh.
I'll be in Panama City. Now, okay,
Are you coming to Panama for the
if
meetup?
if so I
Okay.
need some things to work out in my favor that I
Okay.
don't want to say on the internet yet. Okay, I need some things to work out in my favor, but there's a strong chance. I've told the ladies that I will be there and they've started planning the meetup. So I guess I should WhatsApp them. And they might be watching this like,
I
girl,
need to,
what?
I need to go ahead and sign up for that. I think it's a deadline for us to sign up. I wonder, is there going to be more than one meetup?
In Panama, yes. So
Okay.
there is an entire like weekend or a full day of things happening in Panama City.
Yeah.
Angela, who is Black Boomer Besties from Brooklyn,
Okay.
and um, Alfreda, who I think might be your one of your neighbors,
Yes.
they're two of the women who are planning the time. And I should not have said out loud on the internet before I WhatsApped them and told them that I have a little problem, a little thing happening
Okay.
in Colombia, but 90% chance that I'll be now it's instead of 100%, 90%
All
chance.
right. Work it
But
out. Work it out.
I think it's going to work out. It's going to work out in my favor. But exodussummit.com/community friends is where you should go if you want to come to one of these meetups and you want information or yeah, you want the details of the meetup for International Meetup Day. Rashida, where will you be?
I will be in Guadalajara,
Guadalajara, Guadalajara.
which is right next to Tequila, Mexico.
That's right.
Where
Right
they
into where?
tequila and you can
That's
take
what I thought you said.
train, a tequila train.
Yeah.
Could wait for you to show up in Guadalajara. Um, that's not what we're doing at the meetup, though. We're not doing a tequila train for the meetup. But
Well, maybe the
there are
next day. Y'all can go on the next
maybe the
day.
next day we
Okay.
go to tequila train. I'll be there for a few days. There are going to be meetups all around the world. If the city that you live in does not have a meetup yet, it's time for you to plan a meetup. A meetup
Yeah.
can be as simple as you pick a coffee shop or a restaurant and tell people I'll be there, come through, right? That's all a meetup has to be.
Mhm.
We think it's really an amazing opportunity to meet your community. And if community is visiting town, for them to meet the people who are in town. So if you're visiting a place on September 5th, go to a meetup. If you're visiting a place and been on the meetup plan a meetup. Say, hey, I'm gonna be here. That's all you have to do. Go in our exodussummit.com/community, get the heartbeat group, and just get in there and message Francis or put a note for Francis and saying, I'm doing my meetup will be in this place. But there are meetups not just in Panama, not just in Guadalajara, but around the world, in the US, wherever you're going to be, go to meetup. If you have been wanting to scout out a place, but you haven't found the right time to scout it out yet, do it on September 5th. Go get in community. So now that you know all this, Sibongile, will you be at the Panama City meetup on September 5th? Or do you need to have something to do in town before you go? Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, so it'll be a fun time.
It's going to be a fantastic time. Just like Sibongile went to the Morocco meetup and she was like, oh, by the way, I need to retire now. After this experience, I do believe it's retirement time. You come to a meetup, whether it's a local meetup for you or an internet, whether it's right where you live in your own city or it's international, you come to the meetup and things do change, things shift. When you're in a different environment or when you're surrounded by different people, changes happen.
Angela says 54 people are coming to Panama, the Panama meetup. And one of them may be Stephanie Perry.
Most likely. Most likely. I think Panama, so Sibongile and her husband are not the only people that Panama is a great choice for.
No.
And so I think that some of these women already live in Panama, right? But some of the women who are coming to this meetup, they're going to be like, oh, I can see my life here.
Yes.
Sibongile, would you say, I call Panama Houston. Do you see?
I call it Atlanta South.
Okay. It looked very Houston to me because it's on the water, and Houston is a very watery.
Oh, you mean the way the environment? Okay.
The look of it.
I call it Atlanta South because I say if you throw a rock, you're gonna hit somebody from Atlanta.
True. That's also true.
When we came down here last year I think it was in November, we were learning how to ride the metro. And when we got off at our stop, a Black lady got off, and you know how you can look at somebody and can tell that they are from America, but you don't want to be presumptuous. And so she said hi, and that was my cue. I said, hey, how you doing? I said, you from Atlanta? She said, yeah. I was just playing. I said, you from Atlanta? She's like, yeah. She said, you from Atlanta?
Yeah. It looks like Houston. So we're in Medellin right now. I ain't seen none of Medellin except for the hotel and one restaurant. Okay. Or two restaurants. Look at me. But I would say the people in Medellin remind me of Miami, right? Medellin people, this is Miami. We're in Miami, basically, looking at the people. It's not on the water, right?
Yeah.
But Houston, so I can see Panama. The people remind you of Atlanta because they're all from Atlanta. I can see that. And also
the Panamanians don't remind me of Atlanta. It's just that there's so many people from Atlanta here.
But like the Panamanians, I only went to a couple of restaurants in Panama as well. Got in Ubers a couple of times in Panama and going back and forth to the airport. But they're all from the United States. Every Panamanian.
There are those two who have been in the United States and come back to Panama themselves.
Exactly. Every Panamanian person. I didn't hear not one actual Panamanian accent because I was like, why do you sound like that? Why are you speaking to me in American English? Child, right?
My Spanish teacher is Black Panamanian.
Yeah.
And her family, I met her mother and her auntie and everybody. And
do they have a connection to the US too?
No.
Okay, good. Okay. Yeah, I'm like, what? How come there's no way that every single Uber driver that I've had in this entire country has lived in the United States, but every single one. Okay, see you later.
Which I guess comes in handy if you don't speak Spanish.
Say it again. Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, so so you talked about your Spanish tutor. So y'all are working on Spanish?
Yeah, well, I studied. I've had 2 years of Spanish when I went back to school. It's not the same thing as actually being in a Spanish country and having to speak Spanish.
That's right.
But it's coming along. It's coming along nicely.
Good.
Yeah. She told me
Good.
I do too many classes though. I need to be more consistent coming to class. But these last few weeks I've just been so busy.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, that's a place where people are going to give you more grace because they speak a lot of English.
yeah,
But you do still need to work on the Spanish. You do still want to be, I want to be mistaken for a local person. I don't
exactly,
always want to be an outsider.
exactly. And as long as I don't open my mouth, they don't know. As soon as I start talking, even with my rudimentary Spanish, they know.
Yeah, they know.
They,
They
they do appreciate you learning. They are excited when you try to speak Spanish to them. Some get a little bit exasperated and be like, "Look, just speak English."
Yes.
They speak English, right? But
Mm,
they are excited and they appreciate when you at least make the effort to communicate in their language.
that's right. That's right. All right, so that add that to another thing that you're doing in your retirement, right?
Yeah,
Learning a new
yeah.
language.
I'm determined to speak fluently.
Good.
Yeah, I'm
Good.
determined. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a level of time, there's a level where you can have friends and conversation in Spanish. I'm not there yet. But it's nice. It would be really helpful to get to that point where I
And
can meet
also,
you.
I don't want all my friends to be American. I
That's right.
really want to know more Panamanians. I do.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so you talked to us about writing, and I've linked to your Substack a few times. The Substack link is in the description of this video. Can you tell us what you write over on your Substack? Substack is like a newsletter platform, for instance.
Yeah, so actually, one of the reasons why I started the YouTube channel is because editors and publishers and agents, they all say you have to have a platform, right?
Hmm.
Well, I didn't really have a platform because I'm a more or less a fiction writer, right?
Yeah,
I mean, what kind of platform should you have as a fiction writer if you don't already have something published, right?
right.
Um, and so I was trying to think of what my shtick could be, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm a black woman retired. I didn't think that was a big deal, but then I started writing my part of my memoir,
Okay.
and so I started talking about being a black woman retired, you know, and what I do in retirement. Um, Eventually, I think I started to kind of run out of things to talk about. Okay, I'm retired. I don't work. I do whatever I want. But so my Substack is basically my effort, and the website is my effort to kind of build a platform, and also practice my writing. You know how you say practice in public?
Yeah.
Yeah, practice my writing and just get my stuff out there. So if I need to refer to anything that I've already done to a publisher, to an agent, to an editor, I can say, well, here's something that I've written online.
And it's called Spitting Out the Bones. What is that?
Because my memoir is called, well, it started out Eat the Fish, Spit Out the Bones, which is from a Bible verse that talks about when you hear things, when you get things, you take the good part and leave the bad part behind.
Uh-huh.
I forget the verse. It's in my book, but I forget the verse.
Okay.
But basically, and I had heard that before years ago when I was in the church. You know how you go to a church and you realize the pastor has a whole other family on the other side of town.
Uh-huh.
You say that doesn't mean that he's not giving you something good on Sunday morning.
Okay.
So you eat the fish and spit out the bones, right? And so that's where it came from. And a publisher or an editor suggested just spit out the bones, spit out the bones, spit it out bones. And so that's where it comes from. And it has to do with over the years, you know, you come across a lot of people, you come across a lot of experiences, you try different things in your life. Some things work, some things don't. You keep what's good and discard the rest, right? It's like the first time I went on Weight Watchers, I lost about 40 pounds.
Mhm.
I stopped eating French fries. I eat French fries occasionally now, but for the most part, I still never went back to eating French fries. When I started doing the keto diet, I stopped eating grits, even though I love grits.
I was okay with the French fries, but
But I haven't eaten grits probably in 4 or 5 years, right? Since I started. So I mean, you just take what's good and leave the rest behind.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
to me, life is like that. You
That's
know, not every experience is going to be the best.
that's right.
So yeah, that's where it comes from. Spinning our bones.
I've linked to the Substack to Sibongile Substack. Oh, I can't say those two together in the description of the video. So if you want to read her writing, that's where you'll go for that. Okay. And then I've linked to this is the link to the first of the Sisters AARP articles. If you want to read it, share it, put that out in the world, that would be helpful as well. And
I also have a very tiny book.
oh, okay.
It's called Now About That Budget. It's on Amazon. It's a really, really tiny book.
Okay.
Now About That Budget, which just talks about um, preparing to create a budget, but it doesn't really talk about money. It's like some kind of like a mindset to take you through
Oh,
getting to the point where you can say, okay, I'm going to save $5 a week.
okay.
Yeah, but it's a very tiny, tiny, tiny book. It was my, um, I took a class once in print publishing, and I wanted to see if I could actually publish my own book because people keep saying, oh, you can publish your own stuff. Well, I've always wanted to publish traditionally, right? I never wanted to publish, self-publish. But I did take a class in print publishing to see if I could do it. And so that tiny book was my effort to self-publish just to see if, how much of a possibility it really was.
Good. Okay. So if you go to Sibongile's website, sibongilelynch.com, you'll see the tab for books. All right. Sibongilelynch.com/books is where you go to see her books. So I'll actually add that to the description of this video too. Okay, good. So this part of retirement for you is um, relaxed life in Panama, writing for publication,
Mhm.
learning Spanish, right? A different approach to retirement than a lot of people who are so afraid and so paranoid about, not paranoid, but so afraid of this retirement because they think it's going to mean a real loss.
Mhm.
Your retirement to me, it looks like gain, right? It looks like,
Absolutely. And also, I just want to also say that I know sometimes we've thought in the past that you need $1 million to retire.
yeah.
You don't. You don't need $1 million. I promise I don't have $1 million.
You don't have a secret lottery stash somewhere?
No, ma'am. We just have to decide to make some. We may have to decide to live differently.
Yes.
You know how your video about soft life and soft girl life or soft
Yeah.
life or something like that.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on what soft life looks like to you.
Yes.
And unless you are jet setting every week or traveling all the time, I know a lot of people bop around, and as an individual, you may be able to do that without children or whatnot. Um, but we didn't plan to live our lives much differently than what we did before,
Mhm.
right? And if you cut back some things, you don't need $1 million to retire. Mm-mm.
Yeah, we have first. Do you have some water by you? We'll wrap it up. I know you. Yeah, go ahead
Yeah.
and drink water. Go ahead and get yourself together.
It's the end of this code. I was trying to get my pointer to get down to the mute button quick enough.
Oh, okay. Don't worry about it. Everybody's heard somebody cough before.
Yeah.
Yeah, we I don't know. I was saying something. Yeah, we uh
Don't need $1 million.
you don't need $1 million. We decide what we want. If you decide what you really want in your life, then you can find a dollar figure that will get you there,
Yeah.
right? Instead of
We
saying,
just have to know what we are willing to spend our money on. I always say you spend your money on what you want.
yes,
You know.
yeah. Yeah, and some things about American culture, and in particular Black excellence, is it tells us that we're required always to go bigger, bigger, more, 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 for outward approval instead of looking inward and saying, what do I really want? And sometimes what you really want means that you don't need all, you can shed a whole lot of this stuff, a whole lot of the outward appearance of success or comfort is
Exactly.
really preventing you from feeling comfortable and successful and happy and peaceful. The appearance of these things is in the way of actually having these things. And retirement can look like whatever you decide it looks like. In particular, when you're in a different country, it makes it, being out of the United States makes it easier to reject a lot of that stuff, that outward appearance focus, right? And
Mhm.
also it just makes things more affordable. It can make things a lot more affordable. My lifestyle in Sibongile's lifestyle in Panama is maybe close to in money, close to the lifestyle in Atlanta. There's no way I could afford the Bogota lifestyle that I have in the United States of America on the same on a same or similar budget. Not in Delaware, right? Not in Delaware. I wouldn't be able to do that, right? Whereas we find in our community, you can elevate your lifestyle by retiring abroad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody told me, older lady who's a good friend of mine told me retirement is the best kept secret. And I believe her. I believe her.
You're living like it. You're living like it. I'm glad to see it. I love to see it.
Yes, yes.
All right.
I
I'm
just
right.
say hi to a couple of people. I see a couple of people that I see in the chat that I know.
Yeah.
Sandra, thank you for coming, Sandra. And Dee, thank you for coming, Dee. I'm assuming Herman is somewhere nearby. Thanks, y'all. Thanks, y'all, for showing up.
Yes. Thank you
If I
for
miss anybody, it's only because I don't see your name or don't recognize your name in the
I
chat.
see I see Carmen Davis, Carmen Davila was in your Black Expats in Panama tour, number 36.
Okay, hey Carmen. Hey
Yeah,
Carmen. B36. Woo woo.
your squad is here. Your squad is here. And Sandra
Woo
says,
woo.
you're so modest. Okay. She says she used your book in her financial literacy community. Now about that budget, they use that inside of her community. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that with us. And I've
Thanks,
linked to it
Sandra.
in the chat and I'll link to it in the description. And
Mhm.
then D is like the Substack. Okay. Y'all get on the Substack. So
Thanks, Dee.
I've linked to those things. I put those links in the description of this video. If the link is missing, give me a few minutes. I'll get it in after as soon as we're done.
And also, I just want to shout out Awkward Black Nomad. I don't think she's on today, but she was very encouraging in my getting the articles written for AARP. Very encouraging. I call her my little sister.
Yes. Kioka. She was here for a little, she was at least here for a while earlier. Kioka is Awkward Black Nomad. She's a freelance writer, a writer. I just think you just call her a writer. She's a writer.
I took her, what is it? Digital Nomad. I forget the name of her workshop, but I took it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Good. Yeah. So listen, let me a little shout out to the Exodus Summit community. The Black women
Absolutely.
inside of the Exodus Summit community, what you need, you can get here. Right? What you need, you can get here. There are women inside of this community who help women do all kinds of things, right? Sandra is helping, I think Sandra still helps women learn trading and investing,
She
right?
does.
You
Yes.
talked, Sibongile already talked about Adalia's investment boot camp. Kioka is teaching freelance writing. Yvonne and Kioka have a book club together, right? What you need inside of what you need, there is a Black woman doing, and that Black woman is in the Exodus Summit community. Okay. So even if you don't want to come to meetups, if that's not your thing, you should be, if you're a Black woman, you should be inside of the Exodus Summit community, exodussummit.com/community. Now we've left Facebook. We're on a different platform. There's a one-time fee to join, $1, but what you need is there. So do that. Go ahead and join the community and then get on the wait list for Exodus Summit 2026 at exodussummit.com/coming soon so that you don't miss the next summit, so that you can be the next Sibongile, right? If you want to be the next Black.
Okay, and I did do Exodus Summit 2022. I think that's what made me want to go to Morocco.
That was your okay, good. Yeah, so you
And
came
the
to the
only reason why I didn't go to South Africa is because I knew I was about to retire.
yes.
Mhm.
So you went to Exeter Summer 2022, and then you ended up at the Morocco meetup, and things are looking so different for you today. Things are looking real different. Very, very, um, I don't know, ascension, right? You've ascended. There's been some
Absolutely. That's
ascension.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So Rashida and I will pat ourselves on the back. We'll take a little bit of the credit
Yeah,
for
go
it.
ahead. Go ahead.
But we really appreciate you doing the thing, right? It's one thing to be inspired and to have a dream. It's another thing to put feet to the ground and make that thing happen. And so here you are from a woman who was like, I want to be a writer, but everybody says that's not possible, to I'm a writer, and here's where you can find my work, right? Here's where my work is published, and here's what I'm working on next.
And
Here's what
that's
I'm,
not to say that it's not been without its challenges.
yes.
Um, I definitely don't want to give the impression that, oh yeah, it was a breeze. You know, it was not.
Yeah.
Um, even down to selling the house. I had never sold a house before, and trying to do it from abroad. We had an amazing real estate agent in Atlanta, and she was really instrumental in helping us get the house sold.
Good.
Um, Not getting necessarily what we wanted for it, but realizing, okay, do you want a house in Atlanta, or do you want to be in Panama? Which one do
Yeah.
you want?
Yeah.
And so just understanding, the environment, in society, we just decided to get what we could get, and we're happy about that. But so yeah, it wasn't without its challenges because, like I said, that Mercury in retrograde, it was no joke. I'm gonna put that on my calendar from now on. All
Okay.
50. I promise you, because everything that they say happens during Mercury in retrograde happened during this process.
Yeah.
Um, we had 3 offers before we actually got the offer. And then we had to, in order to close, we could either do it by going back to Atlanta,
Yeah.
or we could do it by going through the embassy here, right?
Oh,
At first, I didn't want to do that, but all that would have entailed was going to the embassy to get our documents notarized.
okay.
Well, I made an appointment to do that. Couldn't get an appointment for a month after the actual closing date. So
Um,
we ended up having to go to Panamanian Notary. Now, mind you, this is a 40-page document. We had our signature 13 times, then the notary signature about 5 or 6 times, and we had to have a witness.
yeah.
Took it to the notary. It was crazy. Took it to the notary, got to the apostille. They had to apostille each document within the whole document. That was about 13, I think. One document didn't get date stamped at the notary. Had to take that back, bring it back across town on a Friday in Panama Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
Got back, no apostille was closed. He had to take it back another time. I thought I was gonna lose my mind.
Oh,
And then after we got everything notarized, and he had to take it back 3 times before everything was notarized and apostilled perfectly, I had to scan each page of the whole document.
yes.
And this was in order to keep from having to make a trip back to Atlanta.
Back to Atlanta. Yeah.
I had to scan each page of the 40-page document, send it to the closing attorney in Atlanta, and then mail the whole package and have it on her desk by the closing date, which at this point was in 2 days.
Oh no.
Took it to mailboxes, etc. And of course, in Panama, overnight doesn't mean overnight.
No. No.
It got there in time, but then the buyer's lender decided that they wanted to extend the closing date 8 more days
After you went through all of that.
after all of that. But at least that meant the document was there in time, right?
On time. Yeah. Yeah. So doing things from abroad requires a lot of patience. It requires you to be able to say, you have to be able to be like, we'll see how it works. Right? I
Patience.
don't know exactly how this is going to work. We'll see how it works. Just like I
Patience,
said, I
deep breathing.
to be in Panama for the thing, but I'm not sure I can leave Colombia right now while I'm waiting for my visa. We'll see how it works, right? You have to be able to be like,
Go with the flow.
I believe this is going to work. I have some experts, I have some support on my side, but we're going to have to see.
Have a whole lot of faith in the universe.
You got to have faith.
You really do.
You do. It's true. It's true. It's true. That's why moving abroad is not for the pessimist, and it's not for the person who is like, well, I already know how things work. No, girl, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't.
Oh, and then I mentioned that the apostle system broke down.
Mm,
That was the reason why we had to go back the third day.
right. It's not for somebody who can't withstand some uncertainty. There is uncertainty when you're leaving. Anytime you're leaving the comforts of what you already know, there is some uncertainty. But I believe it pays
I
off.
think the older you get, the more that's true as well.
Okay. The more you're able to deal with it, or the more you struggle
The
with it.
more that it may be uncomfortable. You
Hmm.
know, I think sometimes we are, especially in the US, we get secure with the way systems work.
Yeah.
And we feel certain that it's going to always be there, like the sun.
Yeah.
Even though these days, we just don't know anymore.
No guarantees.
And so also you have to give up some control,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I had a conversation with someone recently, and they were trying to figure out, okay, if this happens, what am I going to do? If this happens, what am I going to do? And what about if this happens? I need to know what to do in all of these cases. And you may not necessarily know that, right? Um, my therapist told me that I was a control freak.
Um,
I don't know what she's talking about, but anyway. And I think, and I was like that to a certain extent. It's like, um, I want to be prepared if the worst case scenario happens.
yeah.
You may not be prepared if the worst case scenario happens, but then the worst case scenario may never happen. So are you going to go through your life worrying about what could happen? Or you just going to take the steps now to prevent that from happening if you can. If you can't, continue to enjoy your life anyway, right?
Sometimes the worst case scenario does happen, and it turns out it wasn't that bad,
It wasn't
right?
bad. Like when we got our gas cut off for 30 days after being here for only a month and a half, right? It wasn't quite that bad.
Sometimes it even the worry about the worst case scenario, the worry. I'm not saying the preparation is not worth it, but the worry is absolutely not worth it.
Right.
The worry is not worth it. You're poisoning yourself with stress hormones over
Yeah.
something that either is not going to happen, or if it does happen, it might not be that bad, right?
And I think I've lived long enough now to know that it's going to work out. It's just going to work out.
Yeah.
It will work out one way or the other. It's going to work out. It's going to be okay, right? I'm still here. It didn't kill me.
Right. That's right. Inside of the Exodus ASAP membership, which is separate from the community, right? We have a Exodus ASAP coaching membership. The month of August, we're bringing in Black women therapists to talk about fear. Tori just did a wonderful session on fear and self-trust in ASAP on Thursday, and you can watch the replay if you join the Exodus ASAP community. But we're bringing in therapists to talk about this because there is a lot of, you said that your therapist told you you were a control freak, but Black women are handed control of all the things, right? Without reciprocity or without any payoff. We're handed control of things, like you do it, you take it over, you
Yeah.
run it, and then we get told that we're controlling. Right? Well, you done handed me control. Right? You done made me be in control of this thing, and
Yeah.
then you tell me I'm controlling. I just wanted to bring that up because um there is an approach to life that says I am going to be more like go with the flow, but it's hard to shift from
Mhm.
everything is under my control. I have to do it all, to I don't know how things are going to work out. And it's hard to make that shift if you've never been allowed to be the person who is like, well, let's see what happens. If you've always had to be the person to make it happen, it's hard to become the person who is like, well, let's see. I'm gonna do what I can do, and then I'm gonna see what happens.
Yeah.
I I think that it's a natural thing to be wary of that kind of shift,
Yes.
afraid of that kind of shift, but I think it's worth it to move into that in life instead of being the one who has to be in charge and has to make it happen and has to know exactly how things are going to work out. To
Mhm.
instead be like, I've done what I can do. Okay, I've done what I can do.
Because I think sometimes people want to make sure everything is in its proper place, everything is in perfect, the conditions are perfect
Yeah,
before I do it,
yeah,
you know? And I really just don't believe that's possible.
no, no.
You might be able to get close, but everything may not be exactly perfect, for you to make a move.
That's right. That's right. When you're waiting for perfection, you're just waiting to die, right? There is no perfection.
If I
Nothing.
waited for things to be perfect, I would have never left.
Yes,
I would have never left.
that's right.
Yeah.
All right, but you're glad you did?
Oh, yes. Oh, honey. So glad I did. I don't, I want to say I don't have any regrets, but I just wish I could have done it sooner.
Ah, okay.
I wish I would have done it sooner. Mhm.
We're glad to continue to follow along with you on your journey. So we'll see you on Substack. If you do revive your YouTube channel, we'll see you over there. You don't have to, but if you choose to, but we'll see you on Instagram, which is a place I haven't linked to yet. We'll see you
Yeah,
over on.
I like Instagram because you don't have to put a whole lot of words.
That's right. So
Yeah.
we'll see you.
I like it for the same reason I used to like Twitter, but
Yeah, right. Same. Same. Men just ruin everything.
okay.
But we'll continue to follow you on your journey as you see fit to share with us. We wish you the best of luck with your writing, with your book. Best of luck to you on your book,
Okay.
and keep us posted.
All right. And thank you so much for inviting me to be on your channel. It's such an honor.
Thank you for saying yes. I appreciate you. I don't know when oh no, I do know when.
She ain't doing nothing to Panama. Let's see if we can get her on here.
No, that wasn't it. That wasn't it. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Sibongile is living out her retirement dream now, right? Yeah. I was like, let's see. I want to peek in. Show me what it looks like.
Okay.
So thank you for saying yes. Well, I appreciate you so much, and I appreciate the women in this community who are here today, who are being so wonderful and so supportive. Thank you, friends, for asking your questions, and thank you for being so supportive of me and of Sibongile and Rashida in her
Yes.
absence.
Yes. And I will always shout you guys out.
I know you do. Thank you. So I saw that in the article. Thank you for that. I didn't type any. I need to reply, but thank you. I saw that in the article. You mentioned me, Rashida, and Adalia. We appreciate that. Thank
Yes.
you kindly.
Yeah. Y'all are the. I was gonna say the Trinity, but with Charlotte in there, it's I don't know what you call it when it's four.
I call us sisters in a movement, right? We're
Yes.
sisters in a movement. All of us. All of us. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, wonderful afternoon. Take good
Yes.
care.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye, friends.